Hello, this is Game Dev Guy, and this is Game Dev Daughter. Hello again, I am your friendly grey-haired developer, and in this episode we're going to be focusing on creating the player movement, and the bounds in which the player is allowed within. So let's get started. So before I start the video, I just want to say thank you to the people who have already subscribed and have been commenting on my posts on GameDevHQ and also on YouTube. It means a lot that you guys are willing to follow me and listen to what I've got to say. So I hope I can make you stick around and enjoy my content more. So this one's for you. Cheers. So this is the game that we're looking to build. You can see you've got a simple intro screen, Galaxy Shooter, created by Will Roberts, but this was following the course from GameDevHQ. I will put the links to this in the description. And you can see, you can start game. And you can see we've got a simple spaceship with an asteroid. We've got, up the top left here, we've got a couple of lives. We've got a score bar. The final version of this sees you going through a lot of extras as well, which Jonathan sends over to you as you complete parts of the courses, and he's actually had time to review them. But if I just press play on the game, and you can do that by simply, I mean, you can... You can do that by simply shooting the asteroid. That starts the game. So you've got explosions, you've got movement. As you see, you've got enemies. You can shoot them, explode them. You've got a couple of power-ups appearing down. You just saw on the right it was a speed. There's another speed one coming here. If you collect, you move faster, as you would expect. You can move around. If you can, let's see if we can get a triple shot. Yeah, there we go. That's a particularly cool power-up. So you can see that now shoots 3. I'll stop collecting power-ups so I can get hit and show you what that looks like. So you see I got hit twice then. See, I'll show you that slower because I actually got hit twice at once, so you didn't get a chance to see the progression of the hit markers. So if I just get hit one time first. There we go. You'll see now that one side of me is now damaged. Now 2 sides are damaged. And if I get hit again, it's going to be game over. So the final version of this sees you being able to collect more power-ups such as health, etc. And that will then take away one of those hit markers and replace some of your energy. Let's go and take a look at how we actually go about building that through the course. Okay, so I've updated my board with my first milestone, and that looks like this. So my first milestone is going to be the creation of the project, and I've got a couple of subtasks in there. I've got create project, the import of Filebase, which is GameDevHQ's own tool, which allows you access to an absolute ton of models that you can use in your game. They're all royalty-free once you are a Filebase member, so you're able to use those in your games royalty-free, whether you release them or not. And the setup of all my folders, there's a certain way that I like to work. I've been programming for a long time, not with Unity, but with a lot of other languages. And there's a certain way that I like to set up my folders to make sure that everything's kept in a nice, neat, clean way. The second part of the milestone is going to be the actual player. And that's going to, the course takes you through the standard Unity, not the standard, the older standard input system for Unity. But Unity are introducing a new Unity input system. So I'm going to be switching to that, and I'm going to change what the course asks me to do into that system instead. So we're going to create the player, we're going to create a player movement script that handles through the new Unity input system, and then we're going to limit the player's movement to the bounds of the frame. So as I mentioned before, you won't be able to go right up the top, you won't be able to go out of the bottom, but you will be able to go out of the left and the right hand side of the screens, which will appear on the opposite side like a traditional shooter. So this is my first milestone. And this is going to be the topic of the rest of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing some of that code. I will film some of it as I go, and I will revisit this part of the video and add it all in later on. So, okay, project is created, and I now have the movement of the player working via the new Unity input system. As you can see, if I press play, I now have the ability to move my player up, down, left, right. For this, I'm actually using the controller, Xbox controller. This is why I wanted to change to the new Unity system, because it handles things like the controllers, keyboard, everything straight out in the box, and all you do is just edit a couple of settings and away you go. There is a bit more to it than that, and if you'd like to see some kind of a tutorial on that later on, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to provide something like that. As you can see, the movement is really, really nice and snappy. But the problem that we have now is we're able, and excuse me, I'm dying from hay fever today, so yeah, you're gonna have to bear with my sniffles. As you can see, the player can move out to the left, he can move out to the right, the top, and the bottom, which is actually not what we want at all. We want to be able to control how far the player can move up, down, and how far the player can move out from the left and from the right. So we need to make a few adjustments. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll come back once that's done. Okay, so player movement is now allowed to go out of the left-hand side of the screen and come through the right, and likewise go out of the right and come through to the left, and I'll just show you what that looks like. If I hit play, you'll see now that it can move as before, but now if I go out of the left-hand side, you'll see that I start to appear from the right, and likewise if I go out to the right-hand side, I appear from the left, and this keeps the Y position and everything correct, so the movement is very, very fluid. But now we have a problem where we're still able to go up and out and down and out as well. So what I want to do now is I want to constrain the player to the bounds that I state for how far he can go up and how far he's allowed to go down. And I'm going to do that by doing the following. So right now, you can see inside our handle player movement within bounds, we have some logic here in an if and else statement to check if the player is going out of the right or check if the player is going out of the left, and we just change the position on the player. But we have to do something different to allow the player to be constrained by the bounds that we require. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say transform.position, and we're going to say equals new vector 3. And what we want to do here is we want to get the X position, but then for the Y we want to constrain that by the two values that we decide what they're going to be. So to do that, we have to use something called clamp. It's really easy to do. We just go mathf.clamp, and then we take in a couple of positions. You can see we've got value, minimum and maximum. So what we're going to do there is we're going to take our value, which is our transform.position.y, and then we're going to constrain the bottom first. So what we're going to say, the minimum is, let's say we'll allow them to go. In fact, we'll set that to 0. We'll set that to 0 for now. No, we won't. We'll set that to, because 0 will be center. So we'll set that to, let's say, -6 for now. and we'll constrain the maximum value to be, let's go to the center of the screen. So we'll set that to be 0. And then we're not using the z-axis. This is a 2D platformer, so we can just go ahead and set that to 0. And then you'll find what will happen now. We'll just go ahead and save that. And we'll switch back to Unity. And press stop. And now I'll go ahead and press play again. And you'll see now that we are unable, you see I'm pressing up right now, we're unable to go past the center mark. And we're unable to go any further below what we've stated as the bottom now. I don't really want to go that far out to the bottom as we can't see our player anymore, so I want to constrain the player to round about here. And you can see that our value is 4.9. I'm going to call that 5 just to round it off. So we'll go back into our code and we'll change our clamp value to be -5. Go ahead and save. Switch back to Unity. Stop and let's play again. And you'll find that now the constraints are as follows. You can't go any further than the center, and we can still see the top of our player as required. So as far as my milestone 1 goes, we now have our project created. Check that off. Our folders, our current folders are actually set, so we can check that off. We still need to import Filebase, which I'll go through in a second. In terms of our player, we have created the player, we have created a player movement script, and we have now limited the player's movement to the bounds of the frame, so we can go ahead and check all of those off. And as that one's complete, we can move that over to done. I should have actually had these in I'm just going to move that into in progress. So, our creation of the new project. So, what we now need to do is we need to go to GameDevHQ. Let me just check I have your web browser open. Okay, so we're just going to type in GameDevHQ Filebase. We're going to select the top link. And we're going to download Filebase. So it downloads a package at the bottom. We just go ahead, select that package from your downloads. Okay, so once the package is downloaded to your downloads folder, go ahead and double click that. And you'll see it will eventually go ahead and pop up a new window for the import of a Unity package. And you can see here it's GameDevHQ Filebase plugin. We'll go ahead and import that. And there we go. So Filebase is now imported, and we're able to now start importing any of these models that we want direct to our project straight from Filebase. As I said, I will go through a lot more of Filebase as we go deeper into the project, but for now, this is all I need to do in order to finish my first milestone. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. As we can see in our import Filebase, select that, close off, we're now complete on that. We can move that over to done, and that is milestone 1 complete, and is the end of this devlog. I will be doing a lot more of these. I'll be taking you through every step that I do to actually make this new version of Space Shooter. So please, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be reminded of when I've got a new video. It really helps support me, so please go ahead and do that. See you next time.